You have been taught to look outward for power, to chase after answers, to collect knowledge like pebbles on a shore, to gather worth from the opinions of others, as if you were building a fortress to keep out the chill of emptiness. From childhood, the world coaxed your gaze away from the quiet sanctuary of your own being, and so for a time, you learned to forget. But now, as you settle into the gentle rhythm of your breath, you remember that forgetting is not the end, it is the veil that precedes awakening. This is the sacred paradox of the temple of the heart. Though the world dazzles with its distractions, the wellspring of all meaning, power, and peace has always been waiting inside. You may feel as if you have wandered far from yourself, but the journey home is but a single breath away. Close your eyes if you wish. Sense the hush that blooms beneath the surface of daily life, beneath thought and memory and expectation. There is a secret place within you, ancient as the stars, and as immediate as the next heartbeat, a sanctuary untouched by the passing storms of circumstance. You are not merely a body moving through time. You are not merely the sum of your opinions, achievements, or failures. The Hermetic sages, keepers of the ancient mystery, whispered through the ages that everything begins in consciousness. The all is mind, said the kybalion, the universe is mental. This means that everything you see, everything you touch, every story you tell yourself is born first within the boundless field of your own awareness. You are not a passive observer in a world of fixed forms. You are the dreamer, and the dreamed, the artist, and the canvas, the alchemist, whose touch stirs the elements of your reality into motion. Pause here and feel not with the mind's restless hands, but with the quiet openness of your heart. Beneath the chatter of thought, there is an awareness, watching always, watching, neither judging nor grasping, simply witnessing. This is the silent temple at your core, the place where all illusions melt and the light of knowing shines pure. In this space, the stories you have been told about limitation, about fear, about lack, they lose their grip. For in truth, you are the source from which all rivers of experience arise. The world is not something happening to you. It is something happening through you. Reflect for a moment. What would it mean to live as if this were true? What choices would you make if you remembered in each moment that you are the sovereign of your inner kingdom? When you meet difficulty, do you shrink and search for rescue? Or do you return to the sanctuary of your heart and listen for the deeper wisdom stirring within? The world may teach you to react, but the temple of the heart invites you to respond from presence. Here in this sanctuary, there is no need to strive or prove. You have nothing to earn and nothing to defend. You are already whole. Every challenge you face, every joy you savor, every sorrow you endure, they are not accidents, but invitations to remember your own creative power. To turn inward is not to escape life, but to finally begin living it as the artist, not the victim. In the hush of the temple, you sense a stirring, a faint ember of remembrance. Could it be that the key you've been searching for was never lost, only hidden beneath the dust of old beliefs? Could it be that your deepest longing is not for something outside you, but for the homecoming to yourself? The ancient ones beckon you. Awaken, beloved, to the mystery within. Stand before the altar of your own heart and know that the divine spark has never left you. This is the first alchemy to see through the veil of forgetting to pause and return gently and without judgment to the presence that watches. Here begins the path of the heart's alchemist. Here all true power is born. As the mists of forgetting begin to thin, a new clarity emerges like a polished mirror. The mind reveals its hidden depths. In this silence, you realize the mind is not simply a tool for thinking, but the crucible in which the world is shaped. The kybalion's ancient wisdom echoes as above, so below, as within, so without. The first Hermetic principle. Mentalism declares that all is mind, and that every outer reality is but a reflection of inner vision. Pause for a moment and sense the subtle movement of thought within you. Every fear, every hope, every quiet expectation is like a brushstroke upon the canvas of your life. What you dwell upon, you amplify. What you resist, you invite to linger. The mind, like the universe, is creative and responsive, shaping experience according to the frequencies you hold and the images you project. Here, the quantum mysteries and Hermetic wisdom entwine. The very act of observing, of bringing consciousness to something, changes its nature. You are both the artist and the observer, the painter, and the one who steps back to admire the unfolding scene. Imagine for a moment your mind as a great hall lined with infinite mirrors. Every belief, every emotional pattern, every word spoken or left unsaid, each is a mirror reflecting not only the world around you, but the inner world that gave it birth. If you see lack and limitation wherever you look, pause and ask, where in the vast chambers of my own awareness did these stories first arise? If you perceive beauty, opportunity, and grace, recognize that you are gazing into the reflection of your own soul's music. Life does not happen to you. It happens through you, shaped by the lens of perception and the silent agreements you have made with reality. Consider the child who is told again and again that they are not enough. Over time, the mirrors in their hall become clouded, reflecting back doubt and fear. But even the darkest mirror can be cleansed. Even the deepest wound can be transformed. To become the alchemist of your own mind is to take up the cloth of gentle awareness and polish the mirrors one by one until you see clearly again. To question each inherited story, to bring light to the shadows, to ask, does this belief serve the truth of my being, or is it merely a relic of the past? Begin, if you wish, with a simple practice. When a troubling thought arises, do not push it away or judge it harshly. Instead, pause. Name it gently, like a parent soothing a restless child. Here is fear, here is doubt, here is longing. Watch as the very act of naming creates space. The mirror clears. What once seemed overwhelming becomes transparent, and a deeper wisdom emerges from the stillness beneath. Let yourself imagine for just a moment that every thought you think is a seed. The seeds you water through attention, emotion, and repetition are the ones that bloom into form. What are you planting in the garden of your mind? Are you tending the seeds of peace, gratitude, and curiosity? Or are you unknowingly cultivating weeds of worry and regret? There is no judgment here, only the invitation to notice, to become ever more skillful in the art of choosing where you place your attention. Realize now that your mind is not your enemy, but your greatest ally. It is the workshop where dreams are forged and suffering is transmuted into wisdom. Each moment is a fresh canvas, an opportunity to witness your own power as the inner artist. As you become more conscious of the stories you tell and the images you hold, you begin to align your inner world with the truth of your heart. The outer world, like a faithful mirror, cannot help but shift in response. So pause again and ask yourself, what am I truly observing, truly nourishing in this temple of thought? Am I willing to see the world with new eyes? Can I become the loving observer of my own mind, choosing with intention the story I wish to live? In this simple shift from unconscious reaction to conscious creation, you awaken as the alchemist you have always been. And the temple of the heart grows brighter, lit from within by the fires of awakened mind. As you wander deeper into the temple of your heart, the dance of opposites begins to unfold. Light and shadow, joy and sorrow, desire and surrender, each arising and dissolving in the sacred space of your awareness. The Hermetic sages knew this eternal rhythm well, for the law of polarity is inscribed in the fabric of creation. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. To truly awaken as an inner alchemist, you are invited not to escape duality, but to embrace it as the very ground of transformation. Consider for a moment the pendulum swing. No life is immune to the ebb and flow of experience. There will be days of boundless vitality when the sun pours golden through your window and gratitude sings in your chest. There will be nights when grief presses close, heavy, and wordless, and even your breath feels dimmed. In the temple of the heart, both are welcomed as sacred guests, for each contains the seed of the other. Within every sorrow, a hidden sweetness. Within every triumph, a whisper of humility. The wise do not cling to one pole or flee from the other. They dance with both, and in doing so find the freedom that lies beyond either. Imagine standing at the threshold of this inner temple. On one side, the great arch of hope. On the other, the shadowed portal of fear. In the middle, a still point, a space untouched by either extreme. The quantum physicist glimpses this mystery in the dance of particles. Observation itself calls forth the world collapsing infinite potentials into a single unfolding now. So too in your heart. When you witness both poles without clinging or aversion, a subtle alchemy occurs. The opposites dissolve into each other. In a third presence arises the quiet joy of simply being free from the tyranny of extremes. In everyday life, polarity often appears as conflict or inner division. Perhaps you struggle with indecision, one part longing for change, another clinging to safety. Or you may judge yourself for feeling too much or too little, forgetting that the full range of human experience is necessary for the dance of growth. The secret is not to eradicate one side, but to bring both into the sanctuary of loving awareness. When you find yourself caught in anger, fear, or regret, pause and ask, what is the hidden gift in this feeling? What wisdom waits within the shadow? Here is a gentle practice. Should you wish to try, the next time you notice a strong emotion arising, do not immediately react or suppress it. Instead, sit quietly and breathe. Name the feeling, honor it as a visitor in your temple. Then, without forcing, let yourself feel its opposite. If you are anxious, invite the memory of peace. If you are grieving, remember a moment of joy. Hold both in your heart, as if your awareness were wide enough to embrace the entire sky. Notice how in the holding, both begin to soften. You are no longer tossed by the swing of the pendulum. You are the space in which it moves. Life is full of such opportunities for alchemical embrace. The parent who holds both frustration and unconditional love in their arms, knowing that both are part of the sacred work of caring. The artist who faces doubt, yet paints anyway, discovering that inspiration lives precisely in the tension between what is and what could be. The seeker who sits with uncertainty, neither demanding answers nor fleeing the questions, and finds at last a quiet confidence blooming within. This is the wisdom of polarity, to see that every experience is a doorway, every feeling a teacher. When you refuse no part of yourself, you become whole. When you cease fighting the currents of life, you find you can float upon them, guided by a deeper current. The Hermetic alchemist does not seek to transcend duality, but to harmonize it, to become the silent witness in whose presence all things are allowed to be. So ask yourself now gently, where in your life are you resisting one pole and clinging to another? What might happen if you welcomed both, trusted, both allowed the fullness of experience to move through you without resistance? In this embrace, the opposites unite, and the heart's temple glows with the golden light of unity. The path of inner alchemy leads ever inward, ever deeper toward the stillness that holds all things. The temple deepens. Its corridors glow with a subtle fire, not the fire of destruction, but the alchemist's fire, a holy warmth that transmutes, that softens and reshapes. Here at the heart's core, you encounter the work of transformation, not the chasing of some idealized future, nor the fixing of a broken self, but the luminous art of transmuting wounds into wisdom, pain into purpose, and ordinary moments into living gold. In every human journey, there come moments when suffering cannot be bypassed, when loss or betrayal or disappointment seem to lay siege to the sanctuary within. In those moments, it is tempting to seek escape to numb, to blame, to armor the heart against further hurt. Yet the alchemist understands that suffering is not an enemy but a crucible. The base metals of life, grief, confusion, fear, are the very substances which, under the right conditions, yield to the fire of presence and become transformed. Recall the Hermetic axiom: all truths are but half-truths. Every truth is half false. In times of hardship, the mind clings to the partial truth of pain, insisting that suffering is the whole story. But the ancient alchemists looked deeper, seeing that every sorrow contains its own remedy, every wound a hidden gift. The fire that scorches is also the fire that purifies. It is not the event itself, but your relationship to it, your willingness to meet it with presence and openness that determines whether it becomes poison or medicine. Let us return for a moment to the metaphor of fire. In the physical world, fire breaks down what was rigid, releasing energy for new creation. In the heart's alchemy, the fire is attention itself, a loving, unflinching awareness that is willing to witness what hurts without turning away. When you bring the warmth of your conscious presence to an old wound or limiting belief, something miraculous happens. The story softens. The edges blur. Insight emerges from within the ashes, like the mythical phoenix rising radiant from what was lost. Practical alchemy is both simple and profound. The next time pain arises, whether as emotional turmoil, anxiety, or the sting of memory, pause and become the gentle observer. Breathe deeply, as if drawing in a cleansing flame with each inhale. Place your awareness softly on the sensation or story, not to judge or analyze, but simply to witness. I see you, you might say inwardly. You are welcome here. Watch how the heat of loving presence begins to transform even the heaviest emotion, not by erasing it, but by illuminating its message. In daily life, this alchemy is both subtle and revolutionary. Perhaps you notice an old pattern of self-criticism. Instead of pushing it away or believing its harsh words, you meet it with curiosity. Where did you begin? What are you trying to protect? Or when grief visits, rather than shutting down, you allow it to move through you, trusting that tears too are a sacred solvent, dissolving what no longer serves and preparing the soil for new growth. Consider those who have walked this path before the parent who, through the trials of caring for a child, discovers a reservoir of patience they never knew. The artist who turns heartbreak into poetry that heals not only themselves, but others. The soul who faces loss and through surrender finds a deeper connection to the web of life itself. Each in their own way has passed through the alchemist's fire, not untouched, but transformed, carrying within them the gold of compassion, resilience, and understanding. This is not an invitation to seek out suffering, nor to glorify pain. Rather, it is a gentle reminder that nothing is wasted in the alchemy of awakening. Every challenge contains the seeds of its own transmutation, waiting for the warmth of your presence. You do not need to become someone else, nor erase your history. You need only to tend the fire of awareness and let it reveal the wisdom hidden in your wounds. So pause and ask yourself now, what within me is calling for transformation? What pain or pattern is ready to be honored, felt and released to the alchemist's fire? Can I trust that even here, in the heart of difficulty, something precious is waiting to be born? In the courage to stay present, you become the alchemist of your own life, shaping even the roughest stone into a jewel that glimmers in the temple of the heart. The temple opens into its vastest chamber, where all separations dissolve and the sacred symphony of existence resounds. Here, the alchemy of heart and mind, of shadow and fire, reaches its silent crescendo. You sense that you are not only the solitary traveler within this temple, but also the temple itself, woven into every stone, every echo, every shaft of golden light. This is the realization of correspondence. The ancient law is above, so below. As within, so without. The breath in your lungs is the breath of the universe. Your heartbeat is the secret drum of creation itself. In this sanctuary, the boundaries between self and world, between inner and outer, begin to blur and shimmer. You are not separate from the web of life, you are its living, breathing center. The cells in your body dance to the music of distant stars. Your thoughts ripple out subtly, shaping the fields of possibility around you. The kybalion whispers, everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. The currents of your inner world are not locked away. They stream through your words, your actions, the quiet choices you make, touching every life you encounter. Pause now and sense the great river moving through you. All of creation is a single harmonious flow, a divine symphony in which each being, each moment is an irreplaceable note. If you listen with the ears of the heart, you may catch the music of the spheres, the subtle harmony that links all things. This is not just poetry, but a profound spiritual physics. What you cultivate within you broadcast outward. The frequencies you embody become the atmosphere others breathe. In modern life, it is easy to forget this music. We move through crowded streets, tangled in thought, feeling isolated by circumstance or identity. But even in the midst of chaos, the symphony continues. Every act of kindness is a chord struck in the field of being. Every loving thought sends ripples across the vast invisible ocean that connects us all. The quantum mystics speak of entanglement, the mysterious way in which two particles separated by oceans of space remain inseparably linked. So it is with the heart. The healing you offer yourself radiates far beyond your own life, touching those you may never meet. Imagine now your daily life as a living ritual. Each breath an offering, each word a spell, each gesture a note in the world's unfolding song. The Hermetic path is not one of retreat, but of radiant presence, bringing the gold of your inner alchemy into every relationship, every task, every ordinary day. The sage and the mystic, the artist and the child all understand creation is not something that happens only in moments of great inspiration, but in the gentle persistence of living with awareness. Consider the person who listens with true attention, making space for another's story, or the one who forgives, releasing the burden of resentment and allowing new life to flow, or the soul who chooses gratitude in the face of difficulty and so transforms the energy of a moment. Each is a conscious creator, a weaver in the tapestry of being. Their small, silent choices ring out in the temple of the world, calling forth new patterns of harmony and beauty. This is the final teaching of the heart's alchemy, that the temple within is not separate from the world without. To awaken fully is to live as both source and participant in the divine symphony, shaping reality not through force, but through frequency, presence, and love. You need not change the entire world. You need only tend your corner of the temple, knowing that each act of presence sends its melody across the field of all that is. So pause, beloved alchemist, and ask, what music am I playing in the world today? What frequencies do I radiate? What stories do I choose to embody? Can I trust that by aligning my inner temple with love, with wisdom, with gentle intention, I become a living instrument of the divine symphony itself? In this realization, the journey and the destination merge, and you awaken at last as the sovereign creator in the temple of your heart. As the echoes of your journey through the temple of the heart linger, a deep and golden silence wraps gently around you. Here, in this hush, all the teachings merge into one radiant truth. You are both the seeker and the source, both the question and the answer, both the silence and the song. The Hermetic laws have been not merely ideas, but living invitations reminding you that your inner world shapes all that you touch, that every breath can be an act of sacred creation, and that you are never truly separate from the divine fabric of existence. Let these realizations settle into your bones, softer than moonlight, more enduring than any fleeting thought. The alchemy of transformation is not a far-off miracle reserved for sages, but a quiet art available in every ordinary moment. When you choose presence over reaction, self-compassion over criticism, courage over fear, each of these is an act of living alchemy. Each is a stone placed lovingly in the foundation of your temple, a note offered into the world's eternal song. As you drift now toward sleep or gentle waking, know that this path is never finished. Every day you are invited anew to polish the mirrors of the mind, embrace the dance of polarity, tend the fire of transformation, and attune your soul to the music that links all things. You do not walk alone. Every awakened heart, every silent act of love is a lamp lit in the vast sanctuary of consciousness. The more you remember, the more you inspire others to remember as well. So I invite you, let your life become the living temple. Carry these seeds of remembrance into your days. Observe what blossoms when you meet the world as the sovereign, gentle alchemist you truly are. If these words touched you, or if you wish to share your own journey, I welcome you to leave a comment, connect, and walk this path of awakening together. Subscribe for more reflections, meditations, and invitations to deepen your journey. For now, rest in the gentle certainty you are the temple, you are the fire, you are the song.